Hello, everybody. It's Royce here, and I would like to welcome you all to my Royce in the House YouTube channel. Thank you all so very much for joining. I really appreciate it. I've got a lot of people here in the chat already, and the show just started. Got a great show tonight. We're going to be covering the Moody Blues, and you know what? I've been listening to this band, I think, before I could had a driver's license. This goes way back to being a teenager for me, and I've always liked the Moody Blues. I actually have 8 albums of theirs, but I realized I have one duplicate, so I'm only got 7 here sitting next to me. And I've been listening to Moody Blues most of the day. So how is everybody? Let me introduce next to me the one and only Michael Nolan, the bottom line. Michael, we just came from your show, and it was excellent, brother.
Oh, thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I kind of came unhinged tonight. Hey, a special shout out to Divining Dragon.
Oh, yeah.
Christian. Kimberly told me right after I got off that guy was lighting up the comments, keeping the comments going, saying hi to everybody. You know what, brother? You did me a solid. I appreciate it, Dragon. Awesome. Big shout out to you.
Absolutely, Michael. I wrenched him up, a week or so ago, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, he's one of my main guys.
Yeah, his interaction is absolutely great. Okay, next to Michael Nolan on the far corner is my good friend and former, regular co-host, and we go back about 4 years or more now, Dan McNew, just the facts man. Just the facts man.
It's actually been 5 years. Been 5 years.
Oh my God, has it been 5 years?
Royce, it's been 3 years since I've been coming on here. So yeah, Dan goes back a ways, man.
Yeah, I can't believe how fast the time's going,
I know.
I feel like I'm running out of time.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
Hey, right below Dan is the one and only David, Safe and Sound Audio Excursion.
Yes.
David is a wonderful member of the vinyl community. He knows so much. It's just unbelievable how much he knows, and he does a great job. He's got multiple copies. He's a total audiophile. He can compare all these albums, different pressings of them, original and remastered and remixed, and all these different years. And he's just, I love it when David comes on. He's got a great show. Do not miss out on going to David's show, Safe and Sound. He does a great job. Good to see you, David. I'm glad you're here. How are you tonight?
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I'm doing great. Thank you.
You're absolutely welcome. And next to him, just below me and Michael actually, is Rampage Videos, Dawson Walters. Dawson, how are you tonight?
Hello, everybody. Hello, record fans and rock and rollers. We're here today for another great episode of Royce in the House.
Thank you. Have you always spelled your video name or your show name P8GE? I thought it was PAGE.
So, can anyone guess what the number 8 is for today? The significance?
No, I can't.
So today, Alexander Ovechkin from the Washington Capitals, he broke Wayne Gretzky's record for most goals scored.
No kidding.
So I put a little tribute in there in my name, so I can stay on top of the trends.
Absolutely. That's great.
Hey, Royce, real quick shout out to Oberheim, a.k.a. Brandon, has just given you a super thanks, my friend.
Yeah, no, Brandon, thank you so much, brother. I'm really glad you're coming back to the channel. I hadn't seen you in a little while. Everybody's busy and there's so much to focus on. But thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. It just means a lot to me. And you being here means a lot to me as well. Thanks so much, brother. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, anybody wants to support the channel, we have a membership. Of course, we have the super chat is always available. If anybody wants to throw a dime out there, a couple bucks or anything, it doesn't even matter. I'm just glad you're all here. I really appreciate y'all being here. So thanks so much. So let's get into the Moody Blues.
Why not?
Let's get into the Moody Blues, okay? Okay, so quick little opening narrative. The Moody Blues, of course, were an English rock band formed in Birmingham, same place Ozzy and Iommi and company came from, Black Sabbath, in 64. 1984. The band initially consisted of Graham Edge, and I'm not sure I'm saying his name right because it's spelled Graeme. Is that Graham?
Or Graham?
I always have called him Graham. Slight emphasis on the A, but I don't know that's true. I've just called him Graham Edge.
Yeah. Then
Great bass player.
Right on. Denny Lane, Mike Pinder, Ray Thomas, and Clint Warwick. And the genders they're basically associated with, okay, of course, progressive rock, art rock, I think maybe my favorite genre, psychedelic rock. I just happen to be from that era. Pop rock, a lot of symphonic rock mixed in there, proto-prog, and early on R&B. Early on they were R&B, okay. Also best known for their psychedelic era music and grandiose lyrics. The Moody Blues began as a British invasion rhythm and blues group with the hit single "Go Now." This highly influential band, having sold more than 70 million albums worldwide and being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2018. Okay, Michael, are you a big fan of the Moody Blues, Michael?
Oh, absolutely. As a matter of fact, Royce, it's an interesting story on their first hit, "Go Now." Of course, Denny Lane sang that with them. His tenure with the Moody Blues was very brief, but there's an interesting story. You know, Denny Lane went on to further acclaim by being really the deputy sheriff for the Paul McCartney and Wings. He was the guy that he was like the band leader. Often Paul and Linda would be, up at the farmhouse, and he'd be out in the chicken shack, guiding the band. He would be the one that would tell players how to better identify with Paul. So he had a lot of power in that band. On another stream earlier today, people said, we're asking, were Wings even really a band after all? Yeah, of course they were. All right. It was mainly McCartney, but he went on to fame. Do you know why he got the gig? No. He was always, when he was with the Moody Blues, they toured with the Beatles. He was friends with the Beatles. Paul didn't just over-flatter him. And that's the one thing I always liked about Denny, is he had this regular kind of street gut. There's that famous time when a guy threatened Paul McCartney. It was Denny Lane and their first guitarist, Wyatt Kent, I think of his name right now.
Jimmy McCullough?
Thank you. No, not Jimmy. It's like McCullough. It's slightly different. Their first guitarist, the guy that did My Love. So they went up and they grabbed knives out of their boots and went up and threatened the guy and made him shit his pants, right? So that's the kind of guy Denny Lane was. And the only reason he got the gig was because of the Moody Blues hit "Go Now." That happened to have been a favorite of Linda when she was growing up, way before she knew Paul. And Paul was looking for people, and he said, well, one guy I really like working with is Denny Lane. He's kind of a down-home kind of guy. She goes, oh, I love "Go Now." So, even though that's kind of him in a nutshell with the Moody Blues, think about that kind of talent and how they had to make up for the lack of that talent when he was no longer in the band. And thank God they discovered Justin Hayward. Yeah. Right. So there's that. Yeah.
Totally. Okay, Dan, are you a big Moody Blues fan yourself?
Oh, definitely. I discovered the Moody Blues probably when I was about 14, probably 1971, 72. Yeah. And one thing about that "Go Now" sound, that wasn't written by the band or Denny Lane. That was written by Bessie Banks. Mm-hmm. But Moody Blues made it famous. Well, Denny Lane made it famous. And there's actually two incarnations of the band: the before Denny Lane and after Denny Lane. Like you said, when they got Justin Hayward and John Lodge, yeah, John
Lodge. Yeah, exactly.
That changed the whole dynamic of the band.
It did. Well, that's the core. That's like Deep Purple Mark II, right, Dan?
Yeah.
You know, most people like that version. That was the solid version that I liked, right? They were okay after Pinder left, but they were never, I mean, they even had a second career without him. So there's something to be said about the 4 core members, but the Moody Blues without Pinder is just, it's a day without sunshine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no kidding, right? Okay, yeah. David, how about you? Are you a Moody Blues fan?
Yeah, my introduction to the Moody Blues was in the later '60s with Nights in White Satin and Days of Future Past, and
absolutely,
I want to talk tonight about the Decca label and the DRAM label and the DSS later that came to this and why they did it and where it went and where it died.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Oh, and resurrected.
Yeah, it sounds
like I said, with David on the panel, we have a set of golden ears. I have a good set of ears, but David is more trained as an audiophile. I'm more trained as an engineer and getting the basic mix down. Other than that, I'm a slave to my meager equipment, but David is Mr. Golden Ears on the channel tonight for sure.
Yeah, no, David was amazing. Okay, well, good. Let's move over here to Dawson. Hey, Dawson, how you doing, man?
I'll be Mr. Silver Ears tonight, and so I think the Moody Blues are pretty good. You know, you listen to Pink Floyd's and you listen to the Genesis, and then you keep going on, and the next band you come across is the Moody Blues. And it must have been probably about 5 or 6 years ago. I usually the Nights in White Satin, and I tried listening to them at that time. I just didn't really get them. They weren't really the band I think I wanted them to be at the time. But later on, I grew to love them more. So we'll get more into that later.
Oh, okay, sounds good. They're really cool. Hey, Chris, how you doing tonight?
Well, everybody, I'm doing okay.
Hey, Chris.
It looks like looks like you're in a different room here tonight.
Yeah, I just got to change up.
You're looking down on the world tonight,
I'll be back next time in the regular.
Yeah, there's no Canadian flags or posters or anything.
Hey, I'm like Zeppelin. It'll speak for itself, right?
That's right. There you go.
Well, you get to do that for sure.
We don't need no stinking light show.
I'll help you out there, Chris.
My
goodness.
So anyway, their wedding song, Nights in White Satin.
Yeah.
But other than that, I have a greatest hits package of theirs, and even that I skipped through a little bit. I just never really caught on with them, to be honest with you.
Okay.
There are certain songs that I really like just a rock and roll band or Ride My Seesaw.
Yeah, Tuesday Afternoon, Nights in White Satin. There's so many. I mean,
for the voice and
Right. Yeah, I at one time I had 3 copies of Days of Futures Past. I'm down to 1. And I really can't remember who I sent them all to,
Yeah.
But, I mean, I haven't had more than 1 in a while now, but.
Well, Days of Future, as you know, I'm just starting to recollect vinyl, and the one album I've got by them, of course, is Days of Future Past. It's my favorite album by them.
You didn't get that from me, did you?
Actually, I think you did send it to me, boys.
I was thinking maybe I did. Yeah.
Right. I love it. It's my favorite album by them, but to say it doesn't dwarf their other albums. It's just my favorite. Threshold of a Dream. Every Good Boy Does Favor or whatever that's called. I love that one. And I really liked their first outing with their comeback. I know you're out there somewhere. I like those albums. Are like a hair's breadth underneath that album, but they hit it so freaking perfect by using the different portions of the day as a concept and tying that even within the lifespan of man.
Total concept.
Art. True art.
I just want to throw out, Novice Nick just showed up in the chat. Novice, I just put a link up.
Get on up here, Nick.
Yeah, get up in here and join us, you know.
Yep, absolutely.
Of course, I'm so far behind on the chat. I don't even know where my link is. But
I was wondering where Nick was because he was in the peanut gallery over on my stream. I thought he would be up here right away. Yeah.
Hey, Piccolina just joined us. How you doing, Piccolina?
Hey, Piccolina. Good to see you.
How you doing? She had a great comment tonight over on my place.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I always enjoy Piccolina showing up.
Oh yeah, longtime supporter of both channels, huh?
Longtime supporter of both. That's exactly right.
Yep.
So
Nick's backstage.
Where'd that link go? Can you see it yet?
It's there. You just put it up.
Okay.
Nick's already backstage, he says.
Oh, he is. Okay. Well, you know, when I've got a full row down there, I don't even see it without scrolling down below.
Yeah,
Yeah. So thanks for letting me know. Nick, it's the
Hey, Nickster.
I've been back here for a while, but that's no worries. No worries at all.
So sorry, brother.
That's all right.
Oh man, we've been joined.
Just want to say greetings to everyone on stage and in the gallery. Another great band, another great topic. Some wonderful music, and I'm still learning the Moody Blues all these years. You learn all their, you learn all their hits and that, but they really do have some emphasis on the blues, and love it.
Yeah, right on. You know, Jeff Davidson just let me know I sent him one of my copies of Days of Future Past, and I was thinking that's what I did, Jeff. I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say it because I couldn't. It's been so long. Jeff goes back a long ways. You know, him, Dan McNew, me, Caitlin, Bill Kay, and so many others. We're all around about 5 years ago, messing around on other shows and stuff, having a little fun, you know. And
where is that Bill Kay these days?
Well, you know, he's popped in the last couple of shows. He's got something else he watches. I can't remember what he called it. It's some kind of a game or something. And and sometimes he doesn't come on till after that's over. And oftentimes we're about to quit when he's coming on.
I know he often comes in late. Yeah.
He came on earlier last week, and that was cool. Yeah, Bill's a good dude. Just a stand-up guy, you know. And so anyway, okay, so let's continue here. Let's see. So like I mentioned, they were inducted into the
well. Let's hear from Nick first of all of us kind of got to talk about him. What is Nick? What's his experience? His basic feeling of the band? How good it is?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right.
Well, thank you, Michael, and thanks, guys. I'll keep it short here. Like I was saying, some great stuff. I'm curious to know how many Moody Blues albums David has. I have 6, but haven't fully listened. I couldn't tell you which songs on which album, but David can. I'm sure of that. But yeah, they're a remarkable band that came out of almost. You can't say nowhere, but they were growing up, learning, and becoming who they are. It's funny that their first hit, their first exposure wasn't even their song, but that's okay. You got the exposure, and their next one, they had the exposure and it didn't go over, but that's okay. They exposed to enough of us that there was a flavor there we liked. And I think
19 is the answer, Nick. 19 is the
answer. Well, I didn't have that on my bingo card. Okay. I'm out. Back to you, Royce.
Okay. Well, I think I mentioned that. Let's see. They were inducted into the Hall of Fame, in 2018. The Moody Blues scored 3 top 10 singles on the Billboard Hot 100, with Nights in White Satin reaching number 2 in Billboard and number 1 in Cashbox. Okay, so but on the UK singles chart, the group also had 3 top 10 hits with Go Now reaching number 1. And let's see. So anyway, the Moody Blues were active from 1964. 64. Can you imagine that? What was 1964? 10,
Yeah,
11,
they
10,
hit
11, 10, 11 years old.
they hit those 3 hits 3 consecutive years, which
Yeah,
was
yeah,
really
yeah. That's
powerful.
right. So anyway, their labels, they had Decca, London, Durham. Am I saying that right?
Deram, Deram.
Threshold, Polydor, and Universal. So yeah, they had a lot of them. Okay.
Well, now
They've been
Threshold.
kicked out of everybody.
Well, Threshold was founded by the Moody Blues. That was
That's their label.
Yeah.
That was their label.
Okay.
They
Okay.
finally wised up.
So
That's
originally,
what came from On the Threshold of a Dream. That's that album, and then they
Okay.
came to the label. Yep.
Yeah.
originally,
But you know, when you're talking about the Moody Blues and hits, that's not the impetus of the band. I remember a time when every single one of my friends had several, if not all, of their albums. They were an album-oriented band
yeah, they really were.
who wrote many songs that should have been hits, even in between, you know. But they did have hits that the populace liked and everything. But to even talk about hits in the Moody Blues, I think slightly misses the mark. It's their albums that bring them to the fore at a time when album-oriented rock was king of the freaking hill, right?
See, yeah,
Yes,
that's
right,
one of the things
right.
that's one of the things that helped the Moody Blues when FM came out. See, 1967 is when Days of Future Past came out.
Yep.
And it didn't really hit well because their longest song was like 6 minutes long, so it never got a lot of airplay. But when they came to the United States, the FM was, I guess, more prevalent here in the United States than it was in the UK. And
well, they had pirate stations in the UK back then, instead of FM.
And once they started playing it on FM here in the United States, it became more popular over here. And that's when Days of Future Past kind of had a resurgence. And I think they re-released it in 72 or 73.
Well, the 72, and that's when Night and White Satin got up the charts was then.
Yes. Yeah.
But they whacked the 7-minute and 41-second song to 3:06 for the single.
Right.
Travesty.
Yeah.
Travesty.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But
you
it got
missed
them
the whole
exposure.
magic carpet ride of that song to listen to the single.
But-
and the single is great as a single, but the superior piece is the album. You know,
as people noticed that British bands that were doing mediocre would come to the States, they would make it, and then get back to England, and all of a sudden, hey, look at this brand new band we found, and
It
they've been
was
busting their butt
almost an
for
invasion.
15
Nick.
years, right?
That
It's
was
almost
the
an
same-
invasion, you know.
They reversed
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix.
That kind of goes both.
Jimi Hendrix. He had to go to England to become a star. Then he
Right.
got
Right.
back, and
That's what I-
he just-
Hey, even
that's what I was
Jesus was
thinking.
not appreciated in his hometown.
This was around the time where
Amen.
they had
That was a rough crowd. I'll tell you, a rough
British
crowd.
pop,
Yeah.
and then they had
No
British
respect,
invasion.
no respect.
So you're right
I
between.
want to take this time to ask everybody in the chat, if they haven't already done it, hit the thumbs up button. Would really appreciate it. Of course, doesn't cost anything. Easy way to support the channel. Of course, we have membership, super chat, and other things too. But but you just hit that thumbs up button. What that does is if we get enough, the algorithm will present our show to more people searching for something to watch.
we're actually about 15 away from that goal, folks. 15
good.
more thumbs up tonight. And Royce
Send cash to
hits
P.O.
50
box number.
Right on. Well, thank you for letting
with
me
a self-addressed envelope.
You
Hey,
can't
guys,
I
do
would
that.
absolutely.
You can't do that when you're on the show here.
Can I cut in for a second?
Yes.
Dawson was talking there, and I wanted to hear what he was saying because it sounded like it was something interesting, but we were all
Oh, I
everybody was
apologize.
over talking him.
Oh,
yeah.
that's
Sorry,
okay.
Doc.
We're all
Go ahead.
have an overlap there. The Moody Blues, they made their music in this in-between period, in between maybe the Mercy beat or the British pop scene and then the British invasion. So
Yeah, right
they,
there.
they kind of formed in this melting pot of
Yep.
influences that would influence the rest of their career later on.
Yeah, great
Yes.
point.
Very
Great
good.
point.
Yeah.
Nothing but the Moody Blues, is that during that time, they were friends with the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, and all that. And, at the time, the original 5 Moody Blues members all lived together, and that was like the party house.
Oh,
People don't realize that.
One was
People
married.
don't realize how much Moody Blues really partied. And they said there was always girls trying to get into the apartment and all this, and they were trying to. They said it got to be a hassle after a while. They said, but one night, they said that this one girl was able to get into the apartment by sneaking in through the bathroom window. And because of that, the Beatles came up with the song.
You came in through the bathroom window.
Wow.
That was because of
what a hard time to make it in the music world when you had so many that were on top and still putting out product that was keeping them on top.
Yeah.
How could you say out on top and putting out when some girl came through the bathroom window? How could you bring all those? I mean, what is this, Nick?
I wasn't putting her out.
Oh, the comebacks I'm thinking right now that are extra.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, it's called self-control, I think, Michael.
I'm trying, Nick. I'm trying.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
We were just now talking about this, but originally part of the British beat and R&B scene of the early to mid 60s, the band came to prominence with the UK #1 and US top 10 single "Go Now" in late 1964. I mean, that's crazy. So damn long ago.
That's British invasion crazy, Royce.
Yeah, British invasion crazy, yeah. Lane and Warwick both led the band in 66, with Edge, Pinder, and Thomas recruiting new members. Justin Hayward for guitar and vocals, and John Lodge bass and vocals. They embraced the psychedelic rock movement of the late 60s with their second album, 1967, Days of Future Past, my favorite album, being a fusion of rock with classical music performed with the London Festival Orchestra. And they have a lot of orchestral music mixed in. That established the band as pioneers in the development of art rock, progressive rock, and has been described as a landmark and one of the first successful concept albums. All five original members of the Moody Blues, Warwick, Thomas, Edge, Lane, and Pinder, had died by 2024. Rod Clark, who briefly replaced Warwick as the band's bassist, died in 2025. Hayward, Lodge, and Mraz all remain musically active. Okay, folks. So let's.
As a matter of fact, Justin is touring this year. Don't know much about it. Don't know how good his voice is. Last time him and Graham Edge performed, it seemed like it had started to weaken, but he's had some time off. Has anybody else on the panel heard about this tour?
In fact, I was looking at it today.
I actually found something on it the last couple of days, being online, doing research and stuff. Yeah.
Well, give us the skinny, guys.
Well, John Lodge is on tour as well this year.
Oh, is he? I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, of course they're not together, but they are touring separately. Most of it looked like a lot of these shows coming up for Justin Hayward. I think to like midsummer is all here in the United States, Florida, not Texas though. I looked, but then he's going back to the UK after that to finish up the rest of the year. And kind of the same thing for John Lodge too. He's got some US dates and he's going back to the UK.
And they were really historically the two major players for the band.
Oh yeah,
sure.
Yep.
Yeah, they had a solo album also. Blue Jays, I think.
The Blue Jays,
right. Yeah. And as many, top-notch songs that Justin brought in, Graham Edge brought some. Didn't he write Ride My Seesaw? And there was several of their, very well-known hits were written by him as well. So
the ones with the driving drum beats are the ones that he wrote.
Yeah.
You think?
Well, he's a bass player, dude.
And I don't know.
Hand in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's. I'm going to have to go ahead, Chris.
I'm going to take a few more quotes from here.
Yeah, that book's been like a gold mine for you.
Yeah. And now, what I was telling you before, like it was written by editors from New Musical Express, right? The critics and that. And they didn't really like the Moody Blues very much.
Huh.
Here, I'll give you talking right here about how Go Now was their big success at first, and then this proved to be an isolated early success. And after several minor hits, Lane and Warwick left. And Lane actually went on to join as a founding member of Paul McCartney and Wings.
Yeah.
Then it says, Days of Future Past was an elaborate theme work recorded with the London Symphony Orchestra and was in its own terms a thoroughly successful enterprise. However, the album was partially responsible for creating a wave of concept records and also for inspiring uninspired rock musicians to overreach themselves by working with the full orchestra.
What examples did they give, Chris?
Yeah.
They didn't.
None, huh? Yeah, so much for the rock critics.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why.
But then again, that statement wasn't really putting down the Moody Blues. It was just stating that they had inspired other people to try a very difficult adventure.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, one example.
Yeah, but it predisposes pre-knowledge on the whole base, and they don't bother to tell you who were these uninspired, and therefore,
that's
the Moody Blues were responsible for that kind of statement is bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, another example of a band that did that was Deep Purple. Was it their second album? And then they had one with an orchestra, and then one, the book Italians, and I think they had some more orchestra on it.
Right, so, they did.
I don't know which one came first, but there was more bands doing it than just the Moody Blues.
Yeah, isn't that kind of going back to the roots to, let's say, big band? And you would, right? I mean, it all kind of, it's a big circle.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. You can name 100 solo artists that have used that same format. Big orchestration, them playing.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so it's. But they were the first rock band to really utilize it and bring it to the forefront.
To go a little further in what this book also says, it says, after this, the Days of Future Past, in search of the lost chord and on the threshold of a dream, increased the Moody's following to semi-messianic proportions, however you say that, proportions in all their following albums, characterized by orchestral sumptuousness and naive philosophizing, had little difficulty in going gold. So even when they
God, I want to meet this guy. I got a fist to put in his nose. Jesus.
Well, we've been joined by a few new folks like Bill Kay.
Bill.
Got here early this week. Glad to see that. And we've also been joined by Concert Buddy, Winslow Red Cross, Jersey Devil. Of course, James Watson, we mentioned that earlier. Oberheim did a super chat earlier. Thank you so much, brother. Really appreciate it. Dr. Insomnia is here. Yeah, we've got a pretty full chat. I can't even begin.
We sure do.
I want to thank you all for joining us. This is great. You guys make the show. Dwayne Wolodica's here. Procol Harum also recorded a live album with the Edmonton Symphony Orchestra in '71.
Conquistador.
Good song.
Conquistador. Right
on.
Oh,
is that an example? Is that an example of uninspired? I'm still trying to figure that out, Dave. It's kind of got me perplexed.
Nice,
on my channel, I always call rock critics critters because they don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. Okay, so first of all, let's get back to the Moody Blues as a concept and what to expect on their albums. If you're not very aware of them in general, they are not only the progenitors of progressive rock or prog rock, they are also the progenitors of psychedelic rock. And on top of that, they are the first and only band to fully encompass a multimedia approach. They used and utilized spoken word, poetry. All right, there's one media. Classical music approach with the orchestration. And the reason they used orchestras at times, you can thank Mike Pinder and his infamous Pindertron. It was called the Pindertron. It was a cousin to the Mellotron. All right. He developed it and made it all on his own because live, that's what they wanted to sound like, to emulate some of the orchestra that they had in their head that they created. Even if they had to hum it out and have a producer write it down like George Martin did for the Beatles. All right. So they have spoken word. They have classic approaches to music. They have a pop sensibility to them as well. They are vocally sound band, great musicians, every single one of them. And this clown talks about them like they're, just a passing band down the block. Yeah. Shame on him. Yeah. Shame on him.
Yeah.
Well, not to fuel your fire anymore, Michael, but this book further goes on. Remember, you guys were talking about record labels, right? And like how Swan Song brought on Bad Company. You were talking about that in your stream earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it says they formed their own record company, Threshold.
Yep.
Which has since released all their own group and solo product, but has been a non-starter in promoting outside talent.
Right.
Yeah. So, which is kind of true. I've never really
that was true.
And it says,
perhaps Michael should have named his earlier stream, the Fife and Drum. Because you can just picture the guy carrying a flag, blowing on the fife. I mean, they're all beat the heck and back, but they're still marching forward.
You know what, Nick? It's here's what the problem is some bands have maintained their legendary status.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some have, through fortune and mishandling, have not. And I think the Moody Blues are one of those that are seen by current listeners and anybody who grew up in grunge practically. They just don't know about them. You want to see them at their best? Watch the Moody Blues live at Red Rocks with a real freaking orchestra. Yes, exactly. I've got it back here right behind me.
Yeah,
brother.
Nice.
That is a you've got to see that concert and then tell me that the Moody Blues weren't major players. But there was a time, Dave, you're of the age. Dan, and Royce is of the age. Okay, so is Nick. Everybody had their freaking albums. Everybody was buying their albums and listening to them.
That's right. They were really very popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were big. They were monsters,
Absolutely.
Well, I'm gonna do something now just to kick this off. And I'm going to show an album, my favorite album by the Moody Blues, Days of Futures Past.
Ooh.
And,
amen.
Preach
it, brother. Preach it.
Yeah, there you go.
Great album, and I really, really like this album.
Oh, me too.
It starts out with the day begins, then dawn, the morning, lunch break. Then you get the afternoon, evening, and the night, which is Nights in White Satin, actually. And the afternoon is actually Tuesday afternoon. So anyway,
two of their very best songs, by the way.
Yeah. This is a great album. I really, really like this. I listened to it today, along with some of the other things here. So okay, I'm gonna make myself small again, and we'll just go around. Has anybody got an album they want to show or talk about right now?
Sure.
Okay.
So I've got this is the British version, In the Search of a Lost Chord.
Yeah.
It's not the US one, has a different cover.
Okay.
And it used this DSS Diramatic sound system.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
The Diramatic sound system was the reason this label was built by Decca was to provide this particular sound method. And Michael, you'll probably appreciate this. The reason they did it was because a lot of stereo was very separated. And they wanted a more natural stereo spread. So the basic difference was, instead of overdubbing and mixing the 4 individual mono tracks from a 4-track recorder, the engineers at Decca used a pair of 4-track machines and layered multiple 2 stereo recording, 2 channels.
There you go.
So they used additional tracks, giving the engineers flexibility to place those instruments more in a position in the stereo field instead of just separate.
Right. Instead of a 180-degree separation or center, you now could bring it into a 45-degree angle, you know, where instruments would appear to be coming to your rather right and your rather left instead of hard left and hard right.
Right.
Yeah.
And this has at the bottom sound song there, it says House o' 4 Doors. It's a misprint. It's supposed to be of. It's not like an Irish song or anything like that.
House of 4 Doors.
So that dynamic sound was what that label was really all about. And they used it for some orchestral music and a sampler, but they really never took off. That label was basically gone by about 69.
Yeah.
Hey, David, can you go back on that one? Because there's House of 4 Doors Part 1 and Part 2. So did they do that for both of them or just the one?
I think it's just the one. Let me double check. Good question. Because it's on the other side. And you gotta flip it over to see. Got to actually pull it out to see as well. They got it right on that one.
Okay, just
yeah. So
Part 2.
Yeah. Yep. So that's basically why, one of the reasons why I think Days of Future Past sounds so good.
Yeah.
Because of that DSS implementation.
It does have a lush spread to it. I thoroughly agree.
Yeah, it's much more lush than the recordings of the day.
Right, exactly, David.
You know.
Well, now that sound system that you're just talking about, now is that on the re-release, or was that on the original?
Well, it's encoded into the original. It's just a matter that they put it on the actual label in the UK and even on the US, it doesn't have it. On the EU ones, it has a big DSS up in the corner.
Right.
So they promoted that a lot more on that side of the pond than they did here.
Gotcha.
I mean, even you can see in the back of this one, it had DSS there in the corner, there, right up here.
Yeah.
So that was their. Like I said, they were trying to promote a better sound before, then 8-track, not cartridges, but 8-track, multi-track, 16-track. The need for that went away in a few years, obviously.
Yeah.
Technology took over. So, but that is the reason why those first albums on that label sound so good, so luscious.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. Dwayne, that sounds like a nice gift you gave somebody. 50th anniversary Days of Future Past live in Toronto in 2017. For their birthday.
Oh, wow.
This is a really cheap one to find too. It's a double album of their best songs.
Oh,
okay, yeah.
This is really, if you don't want the individual albums, this is probably your best bet.
Give us a rundown on the track list, David.
It's got Question, The Actor, The Word, Eyes of a Child, Dear Diary, Legend of a Mind, In the Beginning, Lovely to See You, Never Comes the Day, Isn't Life Strange, The Dream, Have You Heard, The Voyage, Ride My Seesaw, Tuesday Afternoon.
My God.
And The Tides Rush In, New Horizons, Simple Game, Watching and Waiting, I'm Just a Singer, For My Lady, Story in Your Eyes, Not Melancholy Man, Nights in White Satin, and Late Lament from Days of Future
All right.
Wow.
Man, if anybody can grab that, if you're not familiar with the Moody Blues, there's a C sampler right there, folks.
And it's this. You'll find this for $10 or less, 2 LP.
By the way, the song "Dear Diary," if you look at the lyrics of "Dear Diary," it's about World War III, folks.
Yeah.
Somebody exploded an H-bomb today.
Yeah.
Dave,
exactly.
Is that This Is the Moody Blues, the compilation?
This is the Moody Blues.
Okay, yeah.
And it has their albums.
Okay.
See, they're lined up there.
Yeah, that's about their ranked number 7 of all their albums, I think. 6 or 7.
My little tag on there says Soundgarden 42180.
Wow.
So that's when I treated it with Soundgarden.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What year is that one?
This one,
You know?
it doesn't say, believe it or not.
Doesn't say.
It's got to be after. It's got to be after. I think it was 79. It's got to be after 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't write years back then.
Okay, mine says it was done. Gatefold in 74.
1974 is when it was released.
It was okay.
Okay, then it's
This book
74.
has
Yeah.
something to say about that too.
With Voyager on it? Okay.
Yes, the Voyage. The Voyage was on.
Oh,
it.
the Voyage. I thought you said Voyager.
No.
Okay, because they have a piece called Voyager too, but that's later. All right.
All the songs.
Because I was
here
thinking
are
like
60s.
mid 80s or something.
Yeah, this is
With
all
that.
74.
the latest song. The latest song, because they have the dates on here of the songs. The latest song was I'm Just a Singer, August of 72. So they actually tell you when they recorded it and who wrote
that was
it.
almost a brand new song then.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last album they had before they released that was Seven Sojourn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Seven Sojourn is I'm a Singer in a Rock and Roll Band.
Yeah, it's 72. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was their 7th album.
That album.
And I think I'm Just a Singer in a Rock and Roll Band was also one that was written by Graham Madge, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and it was a top 40 hit.
Yep, it sure
I've
was.
always been the first part of that statement, Michael.
Children also. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's when they started getting criticized for crawling up their own ass and by monkeys again. But yeah, they got a lot of criticism for that particular album.
Yeah,
I love
it.
Out of this book.
Oh, well.
And again, Michael, you hit that nail on the head. So might as well add some fuel to the fire.
Go ahead.
Self-managed in the following in the U.S. still borders on evangelical. They have an unyielding professionalism, often taking months to prepare albums, which are inevitably immaculately produced. However, they also seem obsessed with their own importance. Their lyrics became ever more burdened with cliched, cosmic messages, and they showed disinclination to change a winning formula. Others might maintain that the band have already attracted more than their fair share of critical brickbats. And then in 1974, they issued the
proves Michael's point. If you can't do it, write terrible about it.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, which is indicative of 90% of the teachers we have in our school system today, Nick. But that's another tale.
Yeah, it's
right.
Yeah, sir.
We're
getting dumb teachers out there.
Getting a lot of Frank Zappa comments. There's quite a few fans and people that Frank Zappa
always get Frank Zappa
grown on me. I'll tell you, I've got several of his albums. We may be coming up on a Frank Zappa show. I love that. His sense of humor was amazing. Like "Shake Your Booty" was a takeoff from the song "Shake Your Booty, Shake Your Booty." But I mean, what a hilarious guy, man! What a sense of humor. And you talk about intelligence. The guy wrote classical music while he was still in school. I mean, and just if you listen to him, some of the old reels with him talking politics and stuff. I mean, the guy is right on. I'm telling you.
You know what, Royce? TJRS in the comments just said the Moody's were getting into transcendental meditation, except for John Lodge, who was the only Christian in the band. But you know what? I like that because here you've got two dynamically opposed belief systems, and somehow coming together and making it work. To me, I just thought that was interesting. He always comes up with some great comments, I just saw it flip up. So
I talked to him on your show a lot too,
Yeah, he's a regular.
Yeah, and
Actually
so
living the love and peace that's been preached.
Winslow Red Cross as well. Yeah,
You know, one of the things about the Days of Future Past is when they'd use the London Symphony Orchestra in it. The way I understand the way they did that was that they used the London Symphony Orchestra to tie the songs together in between.
That's
the tracks.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And what you hear when you hear the song, that's actually the Moody Blues. But what you're hearing the London Symphony Orchestra to tie in those songs together.
That's
So when
Perfect. Absolutely, Dan. You're right.
So when they came out with the greatest hits, somewhere they're going to have to cut some of that London Symphony Orchestra out to get those cuts from that album.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what you're hearing in the song, I think, is what's great is, as Michael said, the Pentatron. You know, that thing. You know, I've never really heard of one before. You know, and I did a little research. And those things are amazing. They still actually sell them. But that was like the beginning of what we know now as a synthesizer.
Exactly, Dan.
Very, very similar. It was like the very first. I think it came out in the early '60s, and they were, since I guess Mike Pender actually built those things, so he was very familiar with it. And I've seen some video on it, and to me, it's very confusing. But the loop tapes and all that's inside for each instrument,
so you know, Dan, you bringing up a good point is that they are actually a band that not only had two great songwriters like the Beatles did, you know, who could just knock them out of the park all the time, but they also had a mad scientist as a member.
Yeah.
You know, what other band can well, there's a couple I could think of, you know, the James Gang had Joe Walsh, who was always tinkering and readjusting his guitar and stuff. It's always good to have a mad scientist in a group, you know.
Now we know who ours is.
Yeah, in this group. Yeah, I was just gonna say exactly.
Love you, Michael.
No comment. No comment.
Okay. So let's see. Michael stepped away for a second.
Just for a second, Royce, the back.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. Take your time. I know you got things you're dealing with.
Look, can I ask a question that I will show my ignorance to Frank Zappa?
Please do.
I'm not familiar with his music. I may have heard some tracks that he's put out and some of his music. I've never really taken the time to investigate, although he interests me because I feel, and tell me if I'm wrong or right, that the way he looked at the world was different, similar to George Carlin, except for one did music and one did comedy. And the way that I say that is that they analyze the world, pick it apart, and then bring it back to you in a way that's unexpected.
Perfect point, Nick. You know, they took the absurd and shoved it in your face, didn't they? You
That's
know,
one place they shoved it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, think about Billy was a mountain, Loretta was a tree growing at his side. I mean, only a George Carlin or a Frank Zappa could possibly come up with that line. You know.
Well, you know, I gotta make one comment here. Zappa's, you know, still coming up in the comments. You know, Nick, I thought about it again, Nick, when you said that, you know, you never really got into him. Well, I got into him kind of as a teenager a little bit, and then I got away from him. But I tell you what, you kind of got to take all his assets, not just his musical talent. He's very, very. I mean, I heard Alice Cooper say, you know, he was standing up at the stage, and Zappa started playing guitar, and he says, "Man, Hendrix has got nothing on Zappa." I mean, the guy was an excellent musician, you know. And not only that, really a funny guy. I've done at least 5, you know, videos on him, podcasts or pre-recorded. One of them was the night he called at the Whiskey Ono at his house to introduce them, and they started talking. And Lennon walks in, he looks at Zappa, and he goes, "Oh, you're not as ugly as I thought you were."
Subtle.
He's progressed, and like that. He thought he had a great sense of humor. So Zappa goes, "Hey, well, listen, guys, I'm playing at the Fillmore East tonight. Once I get done with my set, why don't you and Yoko Ono come up on stage and we'll just jam." So they showed up. They went up on stage with him after his set with his band, and they got up there and they're playing with him. And what was funny was they were supposed to just be jamming and stuff, but he started into one of his regular songs, King Kong. And it was, he says, it was obvious this was a regular song. It had structure, it had, this, it had that. And then John Lennon, it was already on one of his albums, King Kong. And Lennon winds up putting it on one of his albums and gives it a new name, Jamrag, which stands for like feminine napkin, I think, in France or someplace like that. And I can't remember all the details of all these, but I mean, the guy was absolutely hilarious, funny, smart, talented, did a lot of crazy stuff. I got the 3-album set live at the Fillmore from Zappa. I've got that 3-album set, and the crazy thing is, the whole side C. It's a 3-album set. The whole side C, Zappa and them are playing, and in the background is Yoko doing that caterwauling, where she just takes a yell. Oh, they all sound the same. Ah, ah, ah. And I was like, oh no, this can't be. I mean, it's practically ruined that whole side. But you got to see the humor in it, because that's who Zappa was. He was a very, very funny guy.
Royce, to get back to the Moody Blues here, John Patterson in the comments brought up in Canada, because this kind of gets us into we're into the stream here. I think we should kind of focus on this comment here. John Patterson says, in Canada, in '81, the Long Distance Voyager album was massive, and it was here in the States too. Even AM radio was filled with The Voice and Gemini Dream. Something rare. Now he's going to mention something I'm not aware of. Maybe John can enlighten me. Something rare with the heavy CAN, which I think stands for Canada, CanCon legislation at the time, which I'm not familiar with, but definitely something that he felt that got in the way of heavy rotation. That album was played everywhere. Oh, yeah. That was their big comeback, and even the next album, it didn't sell quite as well, but I loved the next album as well, right? But they were a done deal in the industry by '81, and when this thing hit, minus by this time Mike Pender, of course, with the 4 remaining blues, they really took the industry by storm. 2 hits, covered very heavily, on KFRC, Dr. Don Rose, San Francisco, California. You'd hear Gemini Dream, and even later, I Know You're Out There Somewhere, So they had a second, if you think of the Denny Lane period, they actually had a third kind of incarnation and success,
Right.
Well, the third incarnation, are you talking about when they brought in, I forgot
Pat Moraz?
Yeah.
Pat Moraz, who played with Yes, I think, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, well, I don't know. I don't know about that guy. I've read up about him a little bit. He claims that there were 65 shows that he was never paid for by Yes. Yeah. And then when he goes to the Moody Blues, under the assumption he was just going to be a hired hand for the band.
Right.
He was under the impression he was part of the band.
No, I don't think he was ever given membership, and I never thought of him. I thought of him as their replacement to play live for Mike Pender.
Yeah.
That's the way I looked at him. But he's an excellent musician, but I never thought of him as a Moody Blues. Did anybody else on the panel? I don't know.
He ended up suing the Moody Blues.
Well, of course.
For $500,000, and because he wanted to cut of the royalties and all this, and he did win. He did win the case, but he was only awarded. He was only awarded like $77,000 before lawyer fees and taxes. So there is an argument, to be fair, that he should have been offered because he was involved in the writing, from what I understand, of Long Distance Voyager. So that kind of makes him a member to me, in my mind, if he's writing with them.
I could
But
show
I
you
know.
the picture here, Royce. If you put me on, I'll show you the
from
the other side of life. So you see him at the bottom there, Mraz.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's on there.
Yep.
He's on, and this is the one that had what, Your Wildest Dreams, and it had The Other Side of Life.
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
great.
Side of Life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that photo showed up in the court case somewhere, David.
Exhibit A. This is Exhibit
Yeah.
A.
Yeah,
It's only it's $9 with 40% off, but it's still evidence.
Yeah.
It's still
Okay.
It's cheap evidence. I want to talk about audiophile, if I could, for a minute. Since I'm up here. A couple of audiophile versions of Long Distance Voyager.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
This is
what an album cover. I love it.
Dutch import. And then 2 from Days of Future Past. We got Speaker's Corner.
Wow.
Which sounds amazing.
Wow.
As does the MoFi of it.
Okay.
As well.
Yeah.
Oh, the original.
Very nice.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you're looking for
the gold stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I've not done a shootout on these yet. I probably need to. Just to really
that would be cool.
compare them.
Right.
Yeah, I'd be
with an OG. With an OG.
That.
Yeah, I've got a UK OG, I got a German OG, and I've got a US OG. So that'd be 5 in the rotation. So that'd be just about right.
Nice.
I'll jot that down on my list.
That's right. Hey, I think I'm just going to quickly just go through my albums real quick. You know, pulled them out for a reason. Okay. In Search of the Lost Chord. Here, let me make myself bigger.
Yeah.
In Search of the Lost Chord.
That's the different cover. Yeah. See, that looks different than the one I showed earlier with the band on the front.
Yeah.
That's the one I had, though.
Yeah. It's a really good album too. And so is you know,
for your children's children.
Right there. Yeah. Yeah. These are all good. They're all easy to listen to. Totally easy listening, but some good musicianship in there too. Okay.
Oh,
this, of course, is On the Threshold of a Dream.
One of my very favorites.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Oh, it nudges almost to number 1. You know, that's good.
Seventh Sojourn.
Yeah.
And I think this is the one I have a duplicate of. I have 2 of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sold really well.
And then this one, I really liked this one when it came out too. Every Good Boy Deserves Favor.
Yep.
Just like the scale, Michael, right?
Yep. Exactly. That's where they got it from.
Yep.
And another absolute masterpiece right there.
And this is trippy too, right here.
Oh yeah, Question of Balance.
Question of Balance, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love the cover.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The cover's just crazy.
Okay. I'll have that one.
I like all their covers. That was again multimedia approach, folks. You know, they put as much into the vinyl, the cover, you know, the poetry, the music, everything.
I mean, even stupid cover of this one shows every album that has content on it.
There you go.
I mean, in sequence from the first all the way to 7 Sojourn. So even that, you know, they put thought into.
Oh yeah.
They have a visual mantra here, so it's like part of the
that big, Royce.
Buddhism.
Let's see that. Let's see that.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Make it big.
I've got 2 rows down here, so it takes a little while.
Yeah, so it's like a mandala, and they have it's a visual mantra, just like the chants are. So different layers to it, speaking on the amount of detail that the Moody Blues puts into their albums and their philosophy and how the music all blends together with that.
Very good example.
Yeah. Dr. Rick, answering to Novice Nick, Freak Out, and We're Only in It for the Money. Those are good albums, Novice Nick.
Yeah.
And Hot Rats is good.
Hot Rats. I got a quad version of that, Hot Rats.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. The only thing better than Zappa in stereo is Zappa and Claude. Oh my God.
Zappa, what an absolute character, you know.
Yeah.
He did a lot in his lifetime. You know, it's sad he kind of died, you know, before his time.
You know, I always like seeing how bands got their name. You know, and I did a little research on Moody Blues, and when they first started the band with Denny Lane, there was a brewery nearby. What's called Mitchell? I think I wrote it down. Yeah, Mitchell and Butler's Brewery, and that company, that brewery, owned this chain of clubs, and they thought, well, you know, if we named the band similar to that brewery, you know, that may help our chances of getting booked in all these clubs. So they made the name up. MB5 is what they named themselves, and same initials as the brewery company. They said, well, that didn't work. They never got booked, so they changed the name. They got to change the name. So, and Mike came up with the name Moody Blues, and it was because it was a song that what was it? Well, there was a blues guy that had, I forgot who it was, but it was kind of after a song. It had Moody something in it. And so he decided Moody Blues, and they went with it. But he wanted to keep the same initials, the MB. That was the thing.
Yeah. Thanks for the update on that, the Canadian legislation, brother. I appreciate that. Just now on the in the chat.
Yeah, just in the chat.
You just highlighted it, Royce.
Right.
That's nothing new. That's been in effect since the mid-'70s anyways. The CanCon rules. They've been in effect since the mid-'70s. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think the guess who had with that.
So they get some more airplay on the radio stations.
Okay, so let's see. Anybody
good night,
got
Doc?
Anybody got any more? Yeah, good night, Doc. Anybody got any more show and tell as far as albums they'd like to, you know, show us or anything else?
I'm done.
I still have another one.
There you go.
Okay.
Here, we got the one after that one. There's a bit of a glare here, but yeah, we showed the Threshold of a Dream. Yeah. They have a rose here that they use in a lot of their visualizations. Kind of reminds me of the rose from the Thin Lizzy album. And then it's kind of ironic how you see some there's some normal looking kind of guys, you know, well-to-do people, a little bit shaggy, a little bit long hair, got some mustaches, and then hey, look at those nice guys, and then you listen to the album, you're like, what the heck were they doing to get that album art and that music? It's so trippy. And
you got to remember, though, at the time, Dawson, they were pretty dangerous looking. You know, I mean, look at those bell bottoms, brother. Look at those 2 to 3 inch heels on those boots on the lawn there, man.
Well,
you know, and a mustache was a young man wearing a mustache, especially if it was attached to any other facial hair, like long sideburns, a goatee, or a full beard, was considered absolutely damn right radical, man. You know, so looking back, they may look a little bit, you know, because you know what? It was later, if you noticed, every goddamn damned newsman and weatherman from that point on all 3 major networks, all were wearing that Corford kind of long Beatle haircut with a mustache or whatever, right? It became so common that you forget that the original look was very, very radical, man. They came out of swinging London, which was the fashion capital of the world, and it did it by breaking every damn fashion rule known to man. And overnight, it became a sensation. Those guys were dangerous. You relook at that photo; they were dangerous, my man.
Yeah, and Plus, they sang about Timothy Leary too. So.
Oh yeah, man. World War III, you know, or lyrics like, but I know I must be more than that. At least I think I am. There you go, man. You know, it riles them to believe that you perceive the web they weave. Keep on thinking, free. That is stuff going again. Think about AI today. Don't tell me they weren't prophets.
Yeah, they're ahead of their
Because
time.
that voice is done in a mechanized way. It's a robot voice that goes, there you go, man. Keep as cool as you can, for it riles them. You know, it goes on to that. It's metallic. All right. Now think of AI and tell me the Moody Blues weren't major players.
They're ahead of their time.
Okay.
Ahead of their time. When your art becomes prophetic, by all the rules of the supernatural, they become angels. They become major spiritual beings. They are beyond their own limitations as human beings. They somehow got together and created this greater entity.
Right.
And the best bands in rock and roll did that. That's what's missing today.
Yeah. Well, I can
small.
certainly see that. Yeah.
I do have a show and tell.
I just wanted to comment on a couple more things here. We got the wanted to mention. Okay, well, 70 million albums, sold worldwide, including 18 platinum and gold LPs. They produced 16 studio albums, 6 of which made the U.S. top 20, with 2 reaching number 1, and 8 of which made the UK top 20, with 3 reaching number 1. They were inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2018. Did they play at Woodstock? No, they were on the poster. They were supposed to play, but they backed out after being booked in Paris for the same weekend.
Well, I had forgotten that, Royce. I knew that once because when you were saying it, I go, oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay, top 10 albums, Days of Futures Past, In Search of the Lost Chord, To Our Children's Children's Children, On the Threshold of a Dream. I have every single one of those, including number 5, Seventh Sojourn, Long Distance Voyager 6, number 7, Every Good Boy Deserves Favor, which I have, A Question of Balance, I have that too. And then the Moody Blues compilation, This is the Moody Blues, I have that also, but I don't have the Magnificent Moody's. Okay, then I just want to mention what's considered their 10 greatest songs, okay, starting with the number 1, okay. Nights in White Satin, Go Now, I think that was their first one. Question.
That was their first hit, yeah.
Yeah, Tuesday Afternoon, Isn't Life Strange, Gemini Dream, I'm Just a Singer in a Rock and Roll Band, I Know You're Out There Somewhere, The Story in Your Eyes, and Ride My Seesaw. Okay. Yeah. And then they had, like 16 studio albums. They had one EP, extended play, 8 live albums, 27 compilations. My goodness, 36 singles, and then they had, video albums, the Moody Blues discography, 16. Okay, yeah, we've already been there. Okay.
Yeah, I have a laser disc.
That pretty much, the video albums, they had 7. That's where I got off here. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, I
Nick, you got something to show, Nick? Did you have something to show?
Yep. Speaking of 2018, year they were inducted.
Yeah.
A record store day release of
look at that
12-inch single. It came.
Wow.
Yeah. Look how pretty that. Can you see the coloring? Yeah.
Oh, it's even got some marbling in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has the songs it has on it is Say It With Love is on side A. And side B has The Story in Your Eyes and Stepping in a Slide Zone. That's all that's on this. It's a beautiful record store day release from 2018.
Nice. Forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we have a record store day in April, right? That's coming up.
Yes.
Anybody know what the date of that is?
Next
It
week.
is April the
15th, I
12th.
think.
12th.
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 There you go.
This
That's
coming
it, 12th.
Saturday. This coming
Oh,
Saturday.
Yes.
that's almost too soon.
It is. Well, it is.
Well,
Yeah, I know.
except for those that have been waiting for it.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Never soon enough.
Never soon enough.
Right. They announced it a long time ago, relatively speaking.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
by the
we
way,
got
go ahead.
a large advance notice on that one. That's all I was going to say.
Yeah.
Well,
I
okay,
actually saw the Moody Blues in May of 2011 here in Dallas area.
Oh wow!
They were on tour, and I got their set list from the stage.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Days, I
they
swear
played-
I married the Moody Blues.
They played 19 songs, and I'll never
Wow.
forget the drummer Graham Edge. He was older guy, white hair, but he was so energetic. But they had another guy playing the drums, so he would only play the drums part of the time.
Yeah.
And the other guy was really doing the hard work. But
Wow.
but he was
Well,
really
makes good
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, but
Well,
I mean,
he
he
was-
was
he-
really funny.
Yeah, he was starting to have some health issues about this.
Yes.
And he had to have a backup drummer behind him.
Yeah.
And I think it was in 2016 he actually had a stroke.
Yeah, because he died in 21. Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
I love this comment here from James Watson. 27 compilations. Amateurs. The Beach Boys have over 100. That's great.
Well, these days they should be called the Bitch Boys.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
hey, I got news for you. Anybody on Capitol Records has 100 compilations.
Right. Yeah.
That's a good
There
point.
you go.
Good point.
Apple Records have to
Good
make money
point.
somewhere.
Sorry, I mean,
Sorry, don't be sorry.
Yeah, right.
Fact.
fact.
Hey,
You know,
Royce,
yeah.
did you know we are only 7 thumbs up away from 50?
Oh my goodness.
Come on, guys. Let's get these things
in
going.
there.
7 more, baby.
Oh, get 'em
Come
up.
on.
If you haven't
Put 'em
hit
up.
it yet, smash that thumbs up button. It gets the show put in front of people searching for content. Helps the show to grow.
Freaking
But you got 39 watchers, so your ratio is very high. You 39
I
watchers.
know,
You got very
I
high
know.
ratio.
Yeah, we
I've
have
been-
a great
often-
gallery. Absolutely.
Often late in the stream, though, David, those 39, there's a great portion of them
39.
weren't here for the first part. So
Right.
if you
Yeah.
have just
That's-
joined the
that's-
stream and
yeah.
haven't hit it, please, folks, hit that. Because if
Hit that
Royce
stuff.
can get 7 more now,
Yeah.
4 more. It just
my
went
God.
up. Thank you.
Thank you
If he
so
can
much.
get
Thank you
4
so
more, he
much.
hits 50, and this stream gets a bump.
I
Yeah.
want to ask one more thing for those watching now, and most of the viewers come in later after the show's over, and that continues to climb. But if you're not
Right.
already a subscriber, please do me a proper. Hit that on-screen subscribe button. When the bells pop up, hit that dark one on top. That notification bell will just give you a one-time notification that a new show's coming on. But yeah,
I know I have.
we're all trying to build our
Yeah.
subscribers. So thank you
Yep.
so much.
Absolutely.
Okay, who was starting to talk? Was that you, David?
No, I'm just going to do a shameless plug that I'll be dropping my shootout of this new Tracy Chapman reissue in the next hour. So
Yes.
watch
shameless,
Oh, wow.
shameless plugs are welcome.
That's
That
doing
way
a
it's-
Yeah, it
shootout.
should be very good.
So it's
Lot of
going to be
discussion went
up.
on.
It'll be published in the next hour or so.
Yep, it'll be dropped in the next hour. And
Oh God! Well,
This
guess
just-
where I'm heading after the show.
just
All
got
right.
released. So this is
Wait,
comparing-
is it a rhino?
it's a Rhino reissue.
Well, of course it got
Ooh.
dropped then.
And I
Look
can-
at
yeah.
the corners.
Yeah. Oh,
What's the name of it
no.
again, David?
Oh,
That's Tracy Chapman's self-titled album.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's a 35th anniversary that came out in year 37. We'll talk about why.
I just
Yes.
saw something on that just before I did my live stream that was available.
Yep.
I just
You'll
saw
know.
that. Yeah,
Now you'll know.
it's
There's
her
more
first
to know.
album, right? It's the first one.
It's her first album, but it was never reissued since '88.
Yeah, boy, that's when I didn't follow her after that, but I had that album, David.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, it
Wow,
got
that's
expensive.
But yeah, you'll definitely want to watch the video.
Yeah.
Okay, well maybe we'll kind of make the rounds here with closing comments because we're coming up on an hour and a half now.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
that's fine. it's kind of slowing down a little bit in the chat and stuff like that. So I just want to say I want to thank everybody for being here. Michael,
We're
Nolan,
one away. We're
Dan,
one
We did
away,
it.
folks.
We
oh,
got
We
it.
great.
did
We
it.
got it.
Yeah!
Woo!
You guys rock. You're all rock stars out there. Oh, I saw it now. I see the 50. Hallelujah.
Michael
That
Nolan.
is the
Wait.
second time. That is the second time
Yeah.
that Royce has actually hit 50 while the stream was still going. You guys rock,
Yeah.
man.
Well, it
I
was
Awesome.
think
last
David
week
was here
the
for
other
both
time.
of them.
Yeah,
Besides
yeah.
us.
He hit
So-
50.
Yeah.
Hey, he hit 50 about 12 years ago too, but that's a whole different story.
Isn't that the truth? Maybe a little longer than that.
Again?
So Michael Nolan,
Again?
the bottom line. Michael Nolan, the bottom line. Thank you so much for joining.
You're quite welcome.
Okay, Dan McNew, just the facts man. Thanks for being here, buddy. Appreciate you.
Dan the
on
man.
the streams and participating and bringing all your knowledge with you.
Oh, and my new sign.
Hey, I love it.
I
It's
love the
pretty.
new sign.
That's a nice
And
one.
David, thanks so much, man. I really appreciate you starting to hang out with us a little bit. I always really
Thanks for having me.
enjoy having you here. Absolutely.
We like to call David Texas ears.
So I seen the Moody Blues a few years ago, and then I talked to a guy who worked for the Bass magazine who met John Lodge, and he said that he was just a great stand-up guy, and he would talk to me for hours. So,
I believe it.
there's a personal comment there. Check out Red Rocks.
Absolutely.
And, thanks for having me on the show tonight.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here, Dawson. Chris Elliott, my brother, from
Thanks
another.
for having me on tonight, and it was a great show. I'm not a huge Moody Blue fan, although I guess I'd have to say I don't really listen to enough of their stuff to be a fan one way or the other.
Yeah.
But I know the new edition for 1977. I got some more stuff, I'm sure, on any other band we can think of.
Thank you.
I know that.
Michael, I can go on your stream and show you some stuff to get you going on a rant. I mean, you might be too calm.
Yeah. Thank you. He read the footnotes.
Yeah. All right, I'm good, Royce.
Okay. Hold on, I got to scroll up because I've got a stack of guys here. Okay, so Novice Nick, my man, closing comments or farewell?
Well, like
goodbye?
to thank everyone for coming and putting up with all of our shenanigans and having fun and hanging out.
Yeah.
Appreciate all you guys. Thank you for the honor of having me, Royce.
Oh no,
Great to see everyone, and we'll catch y'all next week, hopefully. God bless and good night.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here and participating. Now, Dan, did I go past you too quickly?
No.
Okay. Does anybody else have a comment before I say goodbye to the chat and good night?
Yeah, I just wanted to say a big thank you, especially to those who are connected to both of Royce's and my channel.
Yeah.
A whole lot of people are coming over from my stream.
Yes,
and it's so good. And you know what, Royce, though, a lot of my stream people who are following my stream, I've gotten from you as well.
It's gone both ways, hasn't it? Yeah.
It sure has. And it has benefited both channels. And with both streams, man, you're getting anywhere from 2 to 2.5, 3 hours of entertainment.
Yeah.
And you know what? Royce and I love y'all. We have appreciated. I've seen some great comments here, but I didn't want to interrupt any more than I already have. Sorry about that, folks. But you guys have been wonderful tonight. This is community, and it's what I call the tribe. Okay?
That's right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
In fact, I might put the tribe in my name if you don't mind as well. No, I'm kidding.
You can. Go for it, brother.
No, I was just joking. Yeah, and I really want to thank everybody here. I want to really, especially, not especially, but Brandon Oberheim. Brandon Oberheim threw down a super chat tonight, and I really
he did over on my stream. So he's a double rock star tonight.
Double rock star for sure. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you. Okay, so keep it rolling. Yeah, let's keep it rolling. Thank you. We got James Watson, great comments tonight. Same with Piccolino the cat.
Yeah, 50 likes.
I don't know if I've said much to you tonight, but it was hard managing all the chat and the in the group here. Panel.
James is going to take away one of my thumbs up. He says, I'm preparing to go back and take my like away from Michael's earlier stream for his bitch boys comment.
Hey, love it when Jersey Devil shows up.
I ain't for everybody, folks. I ain't for everybody.
Keep on searching for the lost chord, folks.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
It should take a week to go through my Moody Blues catalog. Appreciate you stopping in and spending the time with us. Winslow Red Cross, same. Jerry C, same. Yeah, it looks like I got, I looked down and I was all caught up on the chat. And I mentioned chat has slowed down. But then I hit the I ran the bar up and down, and boom, here comes 30 messages that were
that comment is true. Go now is not on this album.
Oh, okay.
Well, right now you've got a pretty damn Royce. You've got 38 still watching by what I'm seeing. You've got 53 thumbs ups now. But here's the deal: you're maintaining your audience later into this stream. Every single week, a little bit longer. It's all in the details, brother. It's working for you.
I think we're having fun on these shows. Yeah. And James Watson just made a great comment. Shocked all those Led Zeppelin shows didn't get 50 likes. Yeah, me too. I thought they were all good shows too.
Yeah. We're building an audience. I think we're building an audience.
Tuned up and ready to put those shows on. And a lot of knowledge, a lot of studying.
But Nick brings out a good point. We have been, and it's been purposeful. We've done it one step at a time. And sometimes we've had to take, we go 2 steps, then we have to take a step back. Yeah. But man, if we could maintain this panel, this show could go, ballistic. In my opinion, I really do believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we've got the chat has been wonderful.
We've got a great group here. We've really got a great group.
Lisa's in the house. Yeah.
Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Brother Bill. Hey, we got Joseph Blue. I must be the only one who can't stand Zappa's moves. No, you're far from the only one. It was a little bit of a learned thing for me. But the more I listened to him, the more I saw him in interviews and things like that, the more I liked him.
Like you, Royce, I listened to him early through a friend who had his albums. I never bought any, and I just didn't continue either. I found sometimes it was a little too avant-garde for my taste and everything, but I always heard his genius, always.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, Douglas Gilbert's wanting to know if I'm going to do Van der Graaf Generator. I'm not really sure.
That's what I use when the lights go out at my house.
Van der Graaf Generator. Yeah.
I don't know.
Very good.
I know. They come in handy, don't they?
Yeah.
Ooh, absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, again, I really want to thank the chat. Love you guys. Michael said it just right. We love the chat. We do love the chat. We love
absolutely.
It just brings so much to that live chat.
And we could use a little more love in the world. Yeah.
Absolutely.
The panel was outstanding tonight, guys. And so we're gonna close her down. What is Joseph Blue? I like Zappa as an activist. Yeah, he was good. He was a good activist. That's for damn sure. So thank you everybody so much. Come back next week. We'll look for us to have something midweek as far as a pre-recorded, maybe even a short or two. So thank you all once again. And that's what's happening in Royce's world tonight. And good night, everybody. Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Night all.
See you.
And night to all of you guys.
Good night.
Night.